My name is Mark Kushner. You guys can hear me? Great, fantastic. I'm the head of design at KRE and one of the architects of the building, along with Gary Handel, who's here somewhere. Hi, Gary. Big building. So welcome to a really rare ceremony because it's a simultaneous opening ribbon cutting for Tower 2 and also a groundbreaking for Tower 3. And we're thrilled to have you all here with us. Journal Squared is a transformative project. We designed it over 10 years ago, not to remake Journal Square, but to make Journal Square into more of what it has always been for Jersey City, for New Jersey, for the entire region, a vibrant cultural and civic center. And people really want to be here. Tower 2, which is right here in front of me, set a record for leasing at 704 apartments, and the next phase, Tower 3, will have 600 apartments and rise 60 stories, bringing the total to over 1,800 units in Journal Square. And I love architecture. I think you can tell by the way I'm dressed that I love architecture. I really embody what an architect is, wearing all black. But more than just the architecture, I love how this project remade what was the back of the PATH station into a new front of the PATH station, how Magnolia Landing became a new public space for the people of Journal Square, where the Farmers Market and Wealth Kitchen, who's catering today's event, is going to be joined by a new supermarket that'll be opening in the next few months. And I can't help but love how, whether you're coming from the north, south, east, or west, whether you're on a train, in a plane, in a car, or anywhere in Manhattan, you can see these two giant towers, and soon to be 3 towers, as a kind of icon, reintroducing everyone in the region to the energy that's here in Jersey City, and specifically that's here in Journal Square. So I hope that when we're done with this brief program, and a few people are going to speak, that you'll join us. We're going to be leading small tours to the very top, to the Sky Lounge, where you can look down on the future site of Tower 3 on Magnolia Landing, and you can also look down a little bit on Manhattan, if you can see it. It takes hundreds of people, thousands of people to build a project like this, and we're going to hear from a few of them. I want to introduce our first speaker today, Mayor Stephen Fulop. Thank you.
Good job, Mark. Thanks. Am I
You're introducing the next person, or I can.
Okay, I'm happy to do it. All right, good afternoon. Let me start by just saying thank you to a couple people. We have our council president here and our Ward C councilman, Rich Boggiano. Thank you. We have our team from HEDC, that's Housing Economic Development, and our leadership here, the director, if you want to raise your hand over here, Anicia. And then behind her in this section over here is the Hudson County Building Trades, looking very serious, but very proud to be building this building. And if you could just give them a round of applause, this wouldn't happen without them. And then finally, I want to say thank you to Murray and John and Mark and the entire KRE team for your belief in Jersey City and your belief in Journal Square. KRE has been a phenomenal partner for decades in Jersey City and really willing to take a step in areas where few large developers were willing to go. At 280 Grove is probably the best example. When Grove Street was far away from the waterfront and we had a problem attracting developers into that area, if you can believe that, KRE was willing to take that step. And the same thing happened here in Journal Square. And you could see the transformation that's happening. And this is just the early stages of what we know is on deck for Journal Square. In just a short couple weeks, we're going to have another property across the street breaking ground, which will be substantial in size. You have a developer, Namdar, creating a pedestrian plaza here with 4 or 5 large-scale buildings that are already under construction. Behind me here, Elliot Spitzer's group is already under construction. And then you have cultural and arts institutions that are building and breaking ground. Next week, the Lowe's Theater will officially start reconstruction to return it to the 1929 glory of that theater, 3,000 seat theater right around the corner. And then the Center Pompidou could be anywhere in the world. They're in Brussels, they're in Shanghai, and they're going to be opening a block away here in Jersey City as well. So when you think about Journal Square in the future, it is very, very bright. And we couldn't be more excited about how quickly this leased up, and that the KRE team is still committed to Jersey City and immediately breaking ground over here. So on behalf of all of us in Jersey City, I say congratulations and thank you for the commitment. I want to bring up the next speaker here. There's a lot of layers of government in order to make something like this work. It's complicated because you're dealing with the Port Authority, you're dealing with county government across the street, you're dealing with municipal government, and it is hard to navigate all that, and you need leadership that's willing to be a part of it in order to make that a reality. The county executive has been there for some time. He grew up in Jersey City, so he's certainly seen the transformation that's happened here, and I wanted to bring him up to say a couple words. Tom DeGise.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mayor, and thanks to the folks in charge who invited me to participate in this ceremony today. You know, I've been to others like this, not quite as big as this one, but I've been to others, and if it's a groundbreaking, I say there's really nothing better than a groundbreaking, unless, of course, you got a ribbon cutting. And today we got both, and that makes this very, very unique. I'm a history teacher, so I'm not going to repeat everything that the mayor was talking, but just give you a little bit of background on Journal Square. The mayor said, I've lived here for a while, a real long while, 70 years I've been here. I work in that beautiful building that's over my shoulder. I don't get too close to the rail because I'm afraid of heights. But Journal Square was built several hundred years ago as a fort when the Peter Stuyvesant, Peg Leg Pete, decided to settle here. He needed protection from the Indians that he was displacing. And so he put a fort at the highest point in Hudson County. And this is the highest point in Hudson County, and it also has the largest buildings in Hudson County. When you see some of them downtown Jersey City and across the river in New York City, all of them are built on lowland. This is highland in Hudson County. We're thrilled to have it as a neighbor. Everyone, any planner will tell you that you put the biggest density you have where there is transportation. And we got quite a set of trains under us right now to help with that. As the mayor stated, it took a lot of people, a lot of different organizations and government entities to get this done. For decades, we had to walk through the square and look at nothing but squalor. Now we have something, you know, to look forward to. And part of that pyramid of people that helped to do it was my legislative body, the Hudson County Board of Commissioners, formerly known as freeholders. And representing them today, a friend of labor, and Patty Kelleher, and the tradesmen who worked so hard to get this done, my friend, Commissioner Billy O'Day.
Thanks, Tom. You forgot to mention one more important thing. As you look out here, the county is transferring the property where the old courthouse is, so everyone who lives in these buildings will have a nice, beautiful park in a few years to be able to take advantage of. So that's a great partnership between the city of Jersey City and the county of Hudson. I always love the development here. I love the view. Unfortunately, when the new courthouse is built, I won't be able to see it anymore. But I grew up at 381 Baldwin Avenue, so I could literally see the back of the house that I grew up in. So it's always exciting as a young man or as a kid who grew up here, who back in the day you could hop on the PATH train when you were 10 or 11 years old and not get in trouble. Can't do that anymore. So I've always been excited about Journal Square. I remember from more recent history, back in the 60s, this was the place where the development in Jersey City was supposed to take place. All the plans were for Journal Square, not for the waterfront. As an architect, you would know that. But now we see it happening. And KRE and their partnership with the building trades, with their investment funds, is the perfect partnership. We look forward to seeing the third building in this area. I'm happy it's in my district. My district literally ends on that street. I'm a little worried because you have so many units here that they don't redistrict you out because I'm gaining so much population because it's such a great area to have, a great area to represent. But I think KRE and the whole team's done a great job. I think Patty, Danny Gumble, the building trades, the investment fund, that partnership, more developers should do those partnerships. You know, we're looking at some other buildings that may not be built with PLA or 100% union. Those buildings should be all built with union. And Patty and Danny and the building trades investment funds are ready and willing to able to help those developers. But I'm glad and proud to be standing here with a developer who does it the right way, who does it with union labor, and makes it get done properly. Thank you.
Thanks so much. I'd like to introduce Jeff KANE from National Real Estate Advisors, our good partner on this project, to say a few words. Thanks, Jeff.
Hi, good morning, everybody. So I'm very proud to be here. This is an absolutely fantastic development in a fantastic city. And it's been, what, 10 years, Murray? Or more? More, oh God, more since we first came to this site. And I have to tell you, to give you a little context, I grew up in a little town in Iowa that had fewer people than live in this building. So you might wonder, why is it that I could make an investment in this project? Well, really because of the KUSHNER family, Murray KUSHNER in particular. These buildings require a lot of complex skills, contractors, labor, you name it, thousands and thousands of people doing technical things. But what really matters when you do a development like this is who are the people you're dealing with. Yeah, they have to be competent, but they have to be honest. They have to be decent. They have to have vision. You have to be able to rely on them. And I can tell you how this deal got made. On building one, and then this one. Came up here one day. Murray walked me around. I think several homeless people followed us around, told us what a great site this was going to be, and I said, I don't know. But we made a deal, and then I went back to Washington with our team, and 3 years later we came back and it was done. We don't have to worry. It was done beautifully and competently, and it's a great credit to your city. Really is. So I want to thank the IBW, Dan Gumble, who's going to speak next, for really bringing skilled labor that has a social conscience to projects like this, along with the rest of the trades. We build all over the country. Most places don't have the strong union background that you guys have here. And it really makes a difference in people's lives. It really does. And we appreciate how well this project was built, all the projects we built in Jersey City, and all the projects we're going to build in Jersey City. So I also want to thank our team at National Real Estate Advisors. Rob Valise, who's here, Kevin Verdi, and several others who've lived and slept and worried about this project over and over and over again. One of the great things about being in my position is if you're surrounded by great people, you don't have to worry about anything. You just let other people worry. And I have never worried about this project because of my team, because of the KUSHNER team. So thank you all for everything you've done to make this a success. And now I want to introduce Dan Gumble, who is the head of the IBW here, and maybe more importantly, his grandfather lived across the street on Pavonia. And Dan and I first met at the Dunkin' Donuts when I met him and told him that I was thinking about doing this project, and he endorsed it. And part of the reason we did it. So Dan.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks, Jeff, for those kind words. So Jeff and I met in Dunkin' Donuts. We walked through the neighborhood. I told him that Hudson County and Jersey City is open for business. We took a drive around the rest of the city, and Jeff went home that day from Washington, and here we are today. There's quite a few people that are involved, like everyone was saying, and I'm going to start with the county. Tom has been nothing but help for the building trades and the people of Hudson County since day one. I know Tom many years and always there to help. Mayor Fulop and your team, nothing but help all the way, and this couldn't be done without these folks and the commissioners in the county, and then also the council people from Jersey City as well. Yeah, my grandparents grew up across the street, so as a kid, I remember Jersey City back in its day. It wasn't the jewel that my parents had told me it was, like Tom talked about in the 50s, the 60s, and Bill. But it's the jewel of the city again. It's getting that way. It really is. I mean, look around us. This is unbelievable. There's quite a few people that I'd like to thank, and that's going to be the rest of the building trades guys, all of us. Pat Keller is going to speak next after me. Pat can go ahead and thank all the trades that were involved. But for me, I'd like to thank our contractors, Power Electric. We work very well together, and they did a great job here and put a lot of our people to work. And it all comes down to partnerships and communication. And we have an open dialogue with these folks and also with Jeff, and we are looking to sit down and do another project, right, Jeff? And Murray, you too, Murray, right? Okay. Okay, so, well, thanks again, and listen, this is a great event, and I'm glad I could be part of it. Pat?
Thank you, Danny, as always. I'd like to thank first Murray, Jeff Persky. I guess it has been 10 years. I've been down here almost 12 years as president of Building Trades, but to see a project like that with Jeff from National Realty, the investment group, you got to pick the right contractor, AJD, pick the right team of contractors. As my contractors here today, F&G, all the guys are here to build it. But the important thing is impact, project impact. We're getting men and women onto these projects. We have programs now to get them into the unions and stuff like that. We build it on time, safe, and everything else with the help of Tom DeGeese, Mayor Fulop, Port of Authority, and the county commissioners and the freeholders. Councilman Rich Bogiana had many conversations about this, Joyce Waterman, and all the council people. But the importance is realizing that we build this safe and on time. I recognize all the trades here. We got the laborers, the operators, the dock builders. We got the electricians, plumbers, HVAC, sheet metal, sprinkler fitters, cement finishers. We also have the iron workers. We have the probably missing the elevator guys who's not here today, but they're here in spirit. We have the insulators and stuff like that. So all these trades are here to help people change their lives, about putting them to work. And when we go to work, everybody around here eats and everybody has a problem. So again, I thank the KUSHNER organization for doing this. And the next speaker I'd like to bring up is Jonathan KUSHNER from the KRE group.
Thank you all so much for being here. I am the final speaker, so for those of you shivering, it's almost over. I just want to start off, I don't want to be repetitive. Mark and Steve and all the other speakers did a great job, but I do have my own thanks to give to Mayor Fulop and everyone who works with you in the city, to Bob Antonicello, the former head of the JCRA, Diana Jeffries and Chris Fiore of the JCRA, and Mike Dakotas, who also represented us. To our lenders who are here, without you all, we would not be here, led by our finance team, Jamie and Lewis, Bill Jordan and Kevin Poppy, Katie Kennedy, Mark Santaseri, CJ Santos, and Brian Tisch, and Steve King of Valley National. So thank you all so much. Without our architects, my brother Mark and his team from Major, and Gary Handel. Where is Gary? Gary is here. Gary's right in the front. Gary, you're a genius. We love you. And we look forward to many more projects with you. all the building trades were mentioned, and I didn't want to name them for fear that I'd miss one of you. And I'm afraid to miss a building trade. So thank you all. I didn't grow up in such a tough neighborhood, so I'm afraid to miss a building trade. I would like to personally thank HAD Construction. Are you here? I see John Mack in the back. Anthony Diaco, Nick Diaco, and Zach Diaco. John Mack Jr., John Mack Sr., Rob Morello, Joe Greiner, Dan Graham, and Peter Filipiak. So without HAD, really none of us are here. And just to sum up and finish this ceremony, I'd like to thank personally my team on behalf of Jeremy and myself at KRE, the entire team. Without you guys, we're not here, undoubtedly. Joe, Kiva, Jamie, David, Jeff, Tom, Noah, Darren, Julia, Jeff Epstein, and your entire management team in Jersey City and in Bridgewater. Without you guys, no one's here. So thank you all so much. As a final thought, you know, this project took hundreds of people to build and get and erect it carefully and on time, and safely and successfully. But honestly, my father is too young to get a Lifetime Achievement Award, but because he's active from 1 p.m. to 8 p.m. every day in the office. But Dad, you do deserve a Lifetime Achievement Award. This project, if there was any, would be your Lifetime Achievement Award. I know that these buildings mean emotionally very little to you. I've learned that, to not really get emotional about buildings. But if there was ever a project that, you know, you could call yours, without you coming here as Jeff KANE, where is Jeff KANE? I remember that day because I was, you know, unsure of his, he really wanted to go forward here, and I really wasn't sure about it. It was a big commitment for us. It was a bigger commitment for you. But he had the foresight, and without you, Dad, you know, this doesn't happen. So thank you, and keeping unemotional about the buildings, and doing what you're doing for till 120. Thank you all for coming and being a part of this celebration. In probably, I don't know, 2 weeks from now, it's going to be a lot louder here. We're going to knock down this beautiful park we just built and build the final tower. Sadly, I hate to see a park go, but it'll be more beautiful when it's finished and properly landscaped around it. So, yeah, thank you all for coming.